whatever the original purpose, that has been, and part of the inflation is because real wages have risen faster than productivity.
Prices have gone up because in rural India people have
I
would contest that.
At least for the first time,
that.
the rural areas have got more than urban areas.
Rural area to find out.
No, I'll tell you why. Because
that's what the government wanted to do, and they've done it.
The projects on the ground are just not there to carry on
that was not the purpose. The purpose was to give money to the poor.
No, it's not. That's not the purpose alone. It was a stated purpose that the purpose of the NREGA.
Forget it.
The purpose of the NREGA.
It was redistributive.
The purpose of the NREGA was financial inclusion. The most startling statistic, Meghnath Desai, you can rubbish it, is that the jobs created for the most marginalized sections have suffered the biggest decline in recent times, which is an indicator that the jobs and the wealth are going to only the people who are already the dominant communities in society. So the very purpose of MNREGA has been completely torn apart and demolished. Why is the government continuing to invest in
Lord Desai is right in saying that despite all the leakages, despite the inefficiency and corruption,
you say it works.
Narega it has increased rural wages. But the fact is, wait a minute. The fact is, they could have got much bigger bang for the buck if they had not been fighting internally on issues like cash transfer and dragged it on for so many years, and now suddenly realized at the end of 4 years of internal infighting that actually a much better way of improving rural purchasing power is to suddenly put all their eggs in the basket of cash transfer, and they've wasted so much time that they're really not ready to roll out everything in 1 year. But having said that, if you adjust for inflation, they really haven't given very much money to any of these schemes. And if you talk about the focus on the underprivileged, there's a lot of tokenism. I mean, I welcome what's happened for women.
Tokenism for the underprivileged.
I welcome what's happened for women, but the sums are very small. In terms of the underprivileged, look at what they are giving to the KBK districts in Orissa. A pittance.
Answer that.
Like Rajiv Vidya Mission, that Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, the huge increase, 43% increase in that. That's really helping in the rural infrastructure of schools particularly.
The entire education budget. In fact,
we're targeting the powerloom, handloom, khadi sector.
No, if you adjust for inflation, now we all know that the revised estimates last year were low because of squeezing. But if you compare to the budget estimates beginning of last year, and adjust for inflation, almost all the schemes have had no increase. Education is one area that has had a little bit of increase, but you adjust,
change. Vivek, the difference it made in Rajiv Vidya.
Vivek, do you agree with Jay Panda's assessment that there is large amount of tokenism that the government is indulging in?
Yeah,
especially with regard to, its stated objectives for women, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Just when we were coming out of Parliament, and one woman had a very interesting observation that he's opening a bank for us, but is he going to give us the money to put in the bank? I think not. And, as far as the youth is concerned, they have two very simple questions. They said, we need cheaper education loans to complete our higher education, which is increasingly getting costly in this country. And second, we need cheap finance so that we can start our enterprise. We need finance at 6%, 7%, not at 15%. Is this budget going to address that concern? I think not.
No spillover effect of the investment that he's made in education?
But whatever it is, I still need loans to complete my education. Am I going to get it cheap? Now, everyone knows for an MBA, for an MBBS, for an engineering, you need 20-25 lakh rupees.
Scholarships available to the students now. Minority students, every student scholarships are available.
Yes.
Through the banks.
But what is the amount?
It is Indian students going abroad for.
No. I'm talking about Indian students studying here.
The government is like, we already started 16.
I'm talking about Indian students studying here. I'm talking about Indian students.
More money for higher education.
The scholarships are all restricted up to 20-25,000.
Depend on higher education even for other countries.
No, I'm not talking about higher education in other countries. I am talking about the capitation fees required by the MBBS colleges. I am talking about the engineering fees required by private colleges. I am talking about the MBA institutes. I am talking about that when you go to a bank and ask for a loan of 4 lakh rupees, he says, get collateral.
No, I think what he has said correct. Tokenism is there. But the question is this, if you go in a private, MBA institute, they charge 5 lakhs, 7 lakh, 8 lakh according to their status. In a medical college, now for MD, you have to pay 1.5 crore, then you get In the private medical colleges, you have to
But
pay
Mr.
2 and 3.
Anjan, what is your...
And the government,
Mr. Anjan, let me ask
government
you.
has
No,
stopped.
this constant criticizing everything
Yes.
is something the left will have to... You criticize the government for not addressing the core concern of revenue generation.
No, if I-
Had the government increased taxes or imposed additional taxes to generate revenue, you would have criticized that. You oppose FDI, which is a tool of revenue generation. You oppose disinvestment of PSUs in the past, and you will continue to propose
No,
it in the future.
you go on
my
selling the
question-
public sector.
No, my question is, what...
No, I'm just asking.
My question is, on what
I'm only
grounds?
one
On
question.
what grounds?
No, one question. I'm question.
I'm challenging you tonight. On what grounds? On what
Arnabji,
grounds do you question the government on revenue generation?
Last 1 year, you were discussing all the time corruption.
No,
Corruption.
I'm asking revenue generation.
I say the black money which is in our country. The black money, more than 50 lakh or 60 lakh crores every year, here and there. Almost I can say here, most of our black money is now landed in Dubai. What action, what sort of thing government of India in this budget has taken, we discussed. Pranab Mukherjee has made many claims that with 20 countries, with 30 countries, what happened? Is there anything in that?
Are you saying the only way to generate revenue in this country is bringing back black money? Are you saying that?
I make a point of, in the income tax department, there are lakhs of, you see,
I have a solution. I have a solution to one problem.
Only one point with this one company, 41,000 crore rupees are lying, and we have failed to settle it.
Well, you will not get it overnight.
No,
I have a solution to a problem.
50 years.
You meant the former finance minister.
After 50 years we will.
I
We will
want
wait for 50 years.
even Smriti Irani will disagree with you.
No.
You know, on your constant
I am saying everybody is, Are Baba, some people are, you see, wanted to throw us in Bay of Bengal. What happened that? I don't want to say. You also say,
nobody, Smriti is not even saying anything about the difficult situation that Mr. Chidambaram is in. Heart of hearts, the BJP leaders are privately saying, we know the constraints. Even left leaders are conceding that, but you are maintaining, you are maintaining opposition. Smriti, my question is, you are maintaining opposition for appearances. Admit this tonight. You are opposing to oppose because you cannot be seen to support.
Can I now?
Yes.
Got the question, so you can stop. I think that it's quite unfortunate that you question anybody's right to criticize this government given the number of scams that Times Now has exposed. You surprisingly question the right to criticize the government where time and again it has been proved that the government only limits itself to sloganeering and does not perform on the ground. Mr. Yakshi has made many malicious accusations against the state of Gujarat. Ironically, he himself comes from the state of Andhra Pradesh, where 6,000 farmers have committed suicide, a state which is being governed by the Congress party.
6,000.
Can I please say, actually,
it's a very small number. Number is more higher.
In fact, I would, Mr. Yakshi, let me finish.
In Rayalaseema area itself is more than 6,000.
Can I just finish? Okay, it's your government in the center which makes it absolutely clear that when it comes to rural development, the number one panchayat in the entire country exists in Gujarat by the name of Punsari. When you speak about Arnab, why we criticize, we see clearly that here we have a state which is governed well and which delivers all that the people so desire out of that government. When it comes to rural development, it is the only state where all the villages are electrified. Can I finish, Mr. Yakshi, before you intervene again?
Please, madam.
Let me now quote to you your own government, okay? I quoted to you your own government when it came to the National Skill Development Fund. On the same page on top, sir, and I'll happily give this book to you tomorrow morning in Parliament. Unfortunately, you have not read your own government's document. On the top of it, it's written that the Women's Self-Help Group Development Fund, for which your government, sir, had announced a 300 crore corpus. That money is still not released. Why? Because your government is waiting for a utilization certificate from NABARD. Vis-a-vis Gujarat, where Mission Mangalam has spent 1,600 crores to employ 25 lakh women. So, Arnab, when you question why this government is being criticized in tough times, the first question you should ask this government is that why in the year 2004, when Mr. Chidambaram inherited power and claimed on the floor of the House that the coffers are full, is it that the same government, the same party leading the government in the center today cries helplessness because the coffers are empty? So while you
Election-
have many
No, no,
ministers
now-
talking about course corrections in the last 100 days, why is it that nobody questions them as to why they went wrong in governance?
Smriti.
In my state, Andhra Pradesh, from 300 to 7,000 crores we spent on women's self-help growth.
Okay, 1 minute.
Which figure are you getting it?
Smriti and Madhu Gowda. I think this spat can continue for some time.
Is that
Nobody
your
is lying.
contention,
Nobody
sir?
is lying.
Not my figures.
No, but it's a question of interpretation. 1 minute, and please don't say. I'm not going to stop you from criticizing the government. I'm not holding a candle for anyone, including the government. Navika said it's all about politics. We forgot all about that. This is all about the
You're
election.
discussing women's self-help groups. Mr.
You're
Yaki,
discussing
my
women-
question to you is, everybody was looking at this budget.
For a-
On what
yeah.
indication is it going to give? Are the elections going to be in the end of 2013 or are we looking at 2014? Are you confident with this kind of a budget you can go back to Andhra Pradesh and expect to get votes
that's the point.
for the next election?
This budget for the next century and vision for the country.
Century.
We are not looking for elections.
I'm very impressed. I am
This
very
is-
impressed with your hyperbole.
Well, some of the opposition MPs in the central hall, after the budget, they said, "Oh, we thought you may be presenting budget for the next election."
Sir, I'm
After that, they said, now we are confident that elections is going to be in 2014.
I'm thoroughly
Our
impressed
budget
by your hyperbole.
never
The next budget will
thinking
be
in the election.
populist. The next budget will be populist.
Please,
Next budget is vote on account of next budget
please
going to
listen
be
to the
out
wiser
of
Goswami.
election.
Listen to wiser
The
Goswami.
year of the Lord, 2013, if you say this is the budget for the next century, I am most impressed by your hyperbole.
Meghnad Desai. Meghnad Desai is maintaining a studied and aloof silence.
Mind, Mr. Goswami.
Meghnad Desai.
What I meant
This budget is not going to help win the next election.
So your
It's the
best
best,
elections are this year?
No,
it's the
election
best,
was
it's
never
the
in our
best,
mind.
it's the best this government can do, but it can't do very much because of the mess it has made for itself. But this budget is not going to help it win the election.
I have a question for Nainalal Kidwai, and I must admire the patience with which she's been listening through this. I'm coming to Smriti. Would you believe those politicians who say that we have now made a dramatic difference in the way we approach governance, henceforth forever? A budget will never be an instrument of politics or political appeasement. And this, therefore, in 2013 is the year of change. Would you believe those who say that, Ms. Kidwai?
I would say that it is at a time of crisis like this, and it is a time of crisis for the country. I think the significance of the crisis that we face in terms of having a rating which will drop us down to junk is a one that should really be engaging every political party and every one of us who are citizens of this country, because the price and the cost that we will have to pay for that is huge. I don't think we fully recognize the nature of the crisis today. If we did, I think we should really be marching together to say this is a time where expenditures, even at the levels that they have been fixed at this budget, are possibly more than we actually need, and we have to be able to get revenues and growth up. We have to work at this together. We all know that GST will add 2% to the GDP. Why aren't we putting that in now? Because it will benefit any government that comes in 2014. Why aren't we sorting out issues to do with the power sector that sit before a cabinet which is made up of many parties, albeit it is the ruling coalition? Because at the end of the day, we need those projects sorted out in order to move into the whole next couple of years of growth and having just simply power and electricity given to our people no matter where. So I think there are certain key issues which we have to resolve on a war footing together, irrespective of party. Things that will benefit our people at every level, and growth is certainly one of them. And I think what is disappointing is across parties today we are not having that coming together on a common platform of we need to fix this. We should fix it now because there is an election, and it will impact whoever comes to power, because it will take at least that long, a year and a half, for any of these major initiatives today to yield benefit. So whoever's in power then will actually benefit from it.
Wrap this up at this point. It's been
I think one thing, Arnab.
He should be the next Prime
how
Minister.
this budget
Desai wants
will
you to be the next Prime Minister.
how this budget will affect the people. I think by the end of this year, when many state assembly elections will be there, the result will show whether these policies have been taken in a positive way by the people.
I put that question to all Times Now viewers. On behalf of Navika and myself at the end of this marathon coverage, the question is, do you think our polity has reached a certain level of maturity? We've divorced the economy from politics. Is that the story of the budget? Or is it only because, as of now, on the 28th of February, their hands are tied? Exactly. Like to hear from you on that. Thank you very much for following our coverage from the entire team here. Till tomorrow, good night and goodbye.